and also any honest feedback that you might have on whatever it is that we do for you. So yeah, without further ado, maybe Eric, you can introduce yourself, tell a little bit about yourself. What do we do? What do you do? And why is it so important for people that might be seeing this to find out about you as well?
Okay, great. I appreciate that, Kira. So I am one of Kira's clients. My name's Eric Clopper. I'm an attorney, and my handle is at Attorney Clopper on Instagram and other social media platforms. And so what I do is not only do I run a law firm, but I run a nonprofit called Intact Global. And what we're seeking to do is ensure that every child that is born intact remains intact. In other words, they don't have parts of their bodies cut off or severed at birth. Now, unfortunately, in America, and America's an outlier, right? But we circumcise or we cut off a big part of our children's baby boys' penises in the U.S. And that's not something they do, right? In Amsterdam or in Europe or most places in the world. It's usually a religious thing as a sacrifice to God, but in America, it's uniquely quote unquote medical, even though no secular medical organization in the world recommends, right? They all say, look, you should keep your child intact. And that's what Intact Global does. And that's what our mission does. And I figured, you know what? Part of this mission, it's very popular around the world because the vast majority of people don't circumcise, or I say the majority, but it needs stronger social media presence, right? And so Kier reached out to me because he's also supportive of protecting children from unnecessary harm, unnecessary medical procedures and cutting, you name it. And so he's like, look, I want to help you. And this is the company that I run. And I saw the results from his other clients. And, you see marketing all the time. So it's kind of hard to separate, okay, is this true? Is it not? What's going on? But I figured, you know what? I need to hire somebody because I'm an attorney now. And I bill by the hour. It doesn't make sense for me to edit videos, post them. It's just not the best use of my time, right? Just by an order of magnitude at least. And so I figured, you know what? I like Kier. I got to try somebody. Let's go with Elevate Media. And, I had like 1,000, maybe 1,500 Instagram followers 2 months ago, and now I have 3,500, so more than 100% increase in 2 months. But more importantly than that is I'm probably getting, I wasn't tracking that closely, maybe 3, 4, 5,000 views at most a month on my content, which again was not consistent or to have a good theme or whatever. The last days, I'm up to 1.6 million views, right? So we're talking like a 500 times or more increase in views. And it's not just that the views are great, which they are, and the fact that I've more than doubled my following in less than 2 months, but some of the people who reached out to me because of those, pushing 1.7, pushing 2 million views have been key to the mission. Intact Global's mission, our mission to protect all children from unnecessary genital cutting. They've been key in terms of the resources they bring, both financial and celebrity, and you name it. And so this increased exposure has been, will likely prove to be instrumental in our mission to protect these kids from unnecessary genital cutting. So I have to say, as the best investment that I've made, well, maybe buying a little Bitcoin was also a good investment. I wish I bought more, but so doesn't everybody. But yeah, so it's definitely, if you need social media for your business, and you probably do in this day and age, I mean, there may be some exceptions, but I think the majority need it, then Kier's definitely and his team are definitely good options. I would definitely recommend. That's why I'm making this recommendation video, not getting paid to do it. But in terms of the process of how it goes, I have a part-time paralegal. He comes in, we film the scripts Kier's team gives us. Sometimes we do edits, sometimes we do our own scripts, but it's, it's there, so I don't have to think about it if I didn't have time. Like, I just wrapped up a huge trial against the city of Los Angeles, so I didn't really have a lot of time to think about it. But my paralegal would come in, we'd film the scripts, and then my paralegal would give it to Kier's team. Kier's team would edit it, cut it up, make it look good. My paralegal would post it. And so it would take me about an hour once every 2 or 3 weeks for social media posting every single day, right? To get millions of views. So like, you can't beat that. It really is, I've been very impressed with you, Kier, and your team. And so, yeah, definitely recommend, I'm just sharing with you my results, and
Yeah.
I intend to stick with you guys as we grow this.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I think too, when you started, you had some podcasts here and there and a few posts on your page. And I just looked at it and I was like, I don't think this is the way we should go about this. So we pondered for a couple of months and then we decided to really just get the ball rolling, get started with the whole content. And I mean, with every other page, you have to build up that traction. People are like, okay, who is this guy? Why is he posting? But then I think in the second month, we saw an insane increase. We had the first video blow up and going viral. And now it's just consistent, even on a weekly basis, almost videos just popping off. And even the consistency with the views is super high. It's like, oh, you have one video go viral and then the page just dies out. But we have consistently like 10, 20, sometimes even 50K views. And then here and there, we have a video going towards even, yeah, 600K views on just a single video. So it's really great. And it also shows like the communication between us. I feel like sometimes we don't even speak for days, but yet whenever we need scripts, we just send them over, you film them, we get it back, and then the whole system just runs out smoothly. We get the videos online and we get the results. So that's, I think, very important part too. Now, what is your favorite part about the whole service? Would you say it's the results? Is it the efficiency? Is it the fact that you don't even have to think about what you need to be filming?
Um, I'm a very picky person, actually, Kier. I have very high standards, and so if it wasn't hitting on all cylinders, I'd probably look for a different solution, honestly. And so the
Yeah,
result and the efficiency with your guys, you can't beat it. The not having to think about the content, well, I'm trying to actually invest more into that, but when I was too busy to really invest in my this activism as much, it was helpful to have starting templates. And I think that was also, professional and helpful that your team provided. So the fact that you guys make it easy for, the person who is usually paying for it or kind of funding this is really important, right? Because if you're paying a social media agency to push your brand or your product, you're probably busy and making money doing other stuff, right? And
yeah,
so one of the huge value adds that you guys provide is that I can do this quickly. I can be done with it, and then it's done well, and then the results are much greater than the amount that I have invested, by paying you guys to do this. So
yeah,
it's and that I think is what everyone who's looking to potentially hire you or your team, Kira, for social media, let's say elevating the social media brand and awareness, is looking for. Like, is this going to be worth my investment? And I have to say, personally, with Impact Global and raising awareness and connections for the mission to protect all children from genital cutting, it has been absolutely 100%, 1000% worth it. Like, some of the people who reached out, because I'm now in the millions of views per month,
yeah,
they're people who really can advance this mission in a meaningful way, like historically, right? So I'm still cultivating those relationships, but people
yeah.
who, once you see this problem, you can't unsee it. And there are some people who are right up at the top who are like, oh, I've been looking for somebody who does exactly what you do, and I want to support it, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so it's huge,
That's the
yeah.
main goal. Like all the views are fun, but if you don't really get people that are actually supporting the reason behind the views, then what are you doing the views for? Like let's say there wasn't a reason for you to be pushing content or being out there on social media, but just getting views, then it wouldn't be a reasonable investment to make. But now that there's actually a reason for us and a movement that we want to push for on social media, it's a great investment, especially when you do see those results. Now, one other question that I have is you probably get a lot of people that reach out to you like, hey, can I do your content or do you need help with social media? Um, what is it that made you decide to give me a reply or at least just figure out what I was doing compared to the other people that might have reached out to you?
Well, we'd spoken a couple times. I probably had watched one of your client videos, like we're making here, a fashion brand, I think Dubai or something along those lines.
Yeah,
Um, and so I was like, okay, what he's saying seems to align with my conversations with Kier, you seemed pretty, because I like to work with people, at least in this activist front, who are similar minded because we're all working towards a similar thing. So we were on the same
Yeah.
page, protecting children from this type of violence, which helps, right?
Yeah.
And then I think in terms of I needed to trust somebody to do this, and I had like 3 or 4 different options, and I liked all of them, but I had the best feeling with you. And honestly, it was the right decision. It's hard to imagine that I would be in a better position with someone else. But obviously, I got quotes. It was eventually a gut call, and it's month to month. So if I wanted to stop, I could, but I don't want to, right? So, and I just started my law firm. So, I'm still just kind of getting on my feet here, but I've kind of taken on this significant or, this decent expense because I figured I need social media. I need it to be done well, and I need it to scale, and I need to bet on a horse. And so I bet on you, and it was a great bet, and I'm very pleased about it. So that's how we came here.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I like it too. I like the whole collaboration that we have. Of course, it helps that I'm a big part of, and also a big believer in the movement that we have going on here. I mean, it would have been a weird relationship if I didn't support uh, global intake, but I mean,
Uh,
it shows that too. Like even for us and the team, making sure that we understand what we're actually doing here, rather than just making random videos, getting the right information, and even you, because you are way more into the Intech Global movement than I am at the end of the day, because of course I'm super focused on social media. But with the help of you and also Chase sending us the right articles that we can use to create scripts from is just super helpful. It makes from your end also everything way more easy for us to work on. So yeah, that's great. Then the final question that I have, like, what is it that you would say to any other people that might be interested in this service, or even just you when you were close to getting on board with me? What were some doubts that you have where you would say to other people that might have the same doubts, like, hey, stop doubting about here, stop doubting about Elevate Media, and just get the ball rolling?
well, I mean, when you're going to go into business with somebody, and it's a good chunk of an expense, a social media agency. You have a team working for you. This is not like a small thing, right? It's
Yeah,
it's a decent expense, right? Everyone has different, let's say, bottom lines and price points, but uh, like I said before, most companies would greatly benefit from effective social media. If you get hundreds of thousands or millions of views consistently, there is intelligent ways to monetize that, right?
yeah,
Or maybe the connections or business, whatever. And that's essentially where I've gotten a lot of value. You have to bet on somebody. You have to trust somebody for a period of time. And so my doubts going into this, I mean, I interviewed a lot of different social media agencies because this was an expense for me. I just started my law firm. I'm not like, some super, lawyer bucks guy yet. I'm doing okay now, but
yeah,
um, is what got me through the doubts. Well, I knew I needed to do it, and we had a month-to-month contract, and I was like, you know what? Let's go with it and see what happens, right? Because this is an expense you have to, if you're going into social media and you're making money with your business, you have to hire somebody to if you want to post every day. Because if you want to go
yeah.
viral, you need somebody who's paying attention to your stuff, seeing what works, what doesn't, and is posting consistently. And if you've got another business, you just don't have the time to do that. It just doesn't make any
No,
sense, right? It
yeah,
makes no sense at all. And so you got to hire someone. And month to month, I saw the results that you were posting. I spoke with you. I honestly was skeptical, super skeptical, because I have like so little views. And I've done podcasts with people with, big platforms because the mission of
yeah,
protecting kids from genital cutting, very popular, very animated to some very, decent big names. And so I had, 100+ thousand views on some post because it was a collaboration with somebody who had a big following, was professional, big time social media people. But it wasn't consistent. And now we make short little clips and they get 5 times as many views, right? And it's super easy. So
Yeah.
instead of like flying to Texas and podcasting with person X or person Y or whatever. And so I figured, you know what? I got to do this. I got to trust somebody. I've had good conversations with Kier. I don't think that it's going to be successful just because, it hasn't been before. Not that I've invested in this before, but it seemed unbelievable that I'd be getting million/2 million views a month with practically no social media presence 2 months ago. So
Yeah.
I got to say, you've done excellent work. I'm very, very pleased. I would definitely recommend you and your team, Elevate Media, to anyone thinking of literally elevating their social media presence to the point where it's actually becoming a meaningful part of their business operation, right? Because you
Yeah.
could have a successful business with no social media, but if you have a successful business with successful social media, that's how you can really scale precipitously.
Yeah.
And so, it's an investment working with you. And for me, it was a very successful investment. I'm very pleased. And that's why I'm happy to do this recommendation video at no cost because, you did me a solid and I'm happy to
Yeah.
support.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, any final words, or I think we can round it up there. The results will only get better. Now we're even gonna look closer, probably somewhere on a call next week to see, okay, now we have all this attention going on. What can we do to convert even more people to DMs, and get people to support Intact Global, or even maybe just found people that are willing to fund certain aspects of Intact Global. So that's pretty much the next step too. And I'm excited for it. I'm excited also to get more results, because we have a lot of traction going and it will only get more from here. Yeah, I want to thank you for your time, Eric. Thank you for taking time out of your day to do this quick testimonial with me. And yeah, we'll definitely keep in touch and keep crushing it.
Totally. At Attorney Clopper, follow.
100%. Yeah, everybody follow Eric at Attorney Clopper. Yeah,
Okay.
amazing.
Thank you guys. All right. Good to talk to you.